Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, then you probably know I love iPads. I use my M4 iPad Pro as my main computer, and now I have the 7th generation iPad mini that I've been using for about a week. And before this, I was using the 6th generation iPad mini, which I really loved. And like I said, I've been using this for about a week now. And so I decided to get in front of you guys and give you my updated thoughts on this updated iPad mini, while answering some of the questions that you guys have been asking me in the comments section. So that's what I'm going to cover today. So I said this in my earlier videos and I'm going to say it now. If you have the 6th generation iPad mini, and if you've been using that for a while and you come to this, you're not going to notice a big difference right away, because ultimately it looks the same, right? You've got the same design, you've got the same display. There's nothing different from that perspective. So when you use this, you don't feel like you're using a radically different device. And I know a lot of people are disappointed with that because Apple is updating the iPad mini after quite a few years, and people expected more. And I know I was disappointed in the beginning too when they first announced this, because I wanted more. But ultimately, the iPad mini 6 was already such a great device, right? They just had to do a few things to make this better. And I think they did make enough changes that doesn't warrant an upgrade from the iPad mini 6, but I think it is great for those who are on an iPad mini 5 or older. For me personally, what I really wanted to see was an update to the display, because I do travel with the iPad mini a lot, and the brightness level is stuck at 500 nits. So when you are using this indoors, the brightness is fine. But the moment you take this outside, it gets pretty hard to see. And this is not just an issue with this, it's also an issue with the iPad Air that I've noticed as well. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard when you use a Pro Series iPhone, which has a 120 hertz display, or an iPad Pro. And then when you come to this, it's almost like, wait, why does this feel slow? And it's not because of the processor, because it has a fast, blazing fast A17 Pro processor, but it's just because of the display. But then again, you also have to think about the audience that this device is built for. This is not for those tech enthusiasts who want the best spec'd out device. This is just for the casual user who wants to sit back and lounge on their iPad, read a book or two, watch a movie or TV show, browse through social media, go through some emails here and there. That is what this device is meant for, and it's perfect. Now, one thing I did notice when I was playing games and doing some light video editing was that it is faster than the 6th generation. And the 6th generation wasn't a slouch by any means, but I could not do any video editing on there at all. But if you watch my iPad mini review, that was actually fully edited on the iPad mini 7 using the LumaFusion app. The new iPad mini 7 does support Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro. So those are two pro apps that are now available on the iPad mini for you to use. But I am more of a LumaFusion fan because that's what I've been using for the past couple of years when I've been editing on my iPad Pro. So I use LumaFusion on this and it worked very well. Even playing games and doing some performance heavy tasks, it is faster, and that is something you will notice. So if you are someone in the market who wants to upgrade to the new 6th generation iPad mini, and you don't care for the AI features at all, and you have an iPad mini 6, I don't think you need to upgrade to this. I'm still gonna stand by that. You do not need to upgrade to the iPad mini 7 if you have an iPad mini 6, and you could care less about Apple Intelligence. But if you are someone who is really liking these new AI features and you want to future-proof yourself with great OS updates that will give you amazing AI features, not just now, but also years down the line, upgrade to this. And if you are someone who travels and wants to do video editing and graphic design work, for the first time ever, I can say, yes, you can do that on the iPad mini. The A17 Pro processor is more than capable in helping you achieve that. Once again, a bigger screen like an Air or a Pro is probably better, especially with the Magic Keyboard support. But if you're like me and you want the most portable form factor when you're traveling and have the ability to do those edits, then you're gonna love this. So those were my thoughts after using the iPad mini 7 for about a week. Now I'm gonna answer some of your questions. Does the iPad mini still have jelly scrolling? So I'm gonna say yes and no to that. No, because I have not experienced any jelly scrolling with this. I use this all the time and it's not noticeable. If it's there, it's not noticeable. But this is what I'm gonna say. You are not going to notice it, all right? Trust me, Apple's iPad mini 7 is great. And if you think that there's a defect with the whole jelly scrolling thing, and that's what's stopping you from buying this, don't even worry about that. It is completely unnoticeable. I mean, there are people on YouTube that are showing off like how there's jelly scrolling by showing you the device being used in like ultra slow motion. Once again, if you do that, you might as well find a lot of issues on all of our devices, right? So technically, right, I guess the answer is yes, the jelly scrolling is there. I can assure you, if you're just gonna be using this for daily tasks, you are not going to notice it. Like I said, I even did video editing on this and I'm not noticing any jelly scrolling issue. Does the iPad mini get hot? No, it does not. I've been using this when it comes to gaming and video editing, like I said, reading books on it, it doesn't get hot. And I know a lot of people are asking this because the A17 Pro chip was the same chip on the iPhone 15 Pro series, and that device got quite heated. But I can assure you that this is not an issue you're going to face with the iPad mini 7, also because it's a larger device, so there's a larger surface area. But either way, you're not going to face any overheating with this. It's just fine. Will the old iPad mini 6 cases work with the iPad mini 7? Yes, great news. If you have the iPad mini 6, they will work with the new iPad mini 7. Obviously, that's where the design changed, right? With the 6th generation iPad mini. So if you have anything older than that, it won't work. But I use my case from ESR that I used with the iPad mini 6, and I use it with this, and it works perfectly fine. So yes, you can use the same cases. All right, next question. I had an issue with the iPad mini 6's battery life. How's the battery life on the 7? To be honest, it's great. I actually saw an improvement in this. Now, I never had an issue with the iPad mini 6's battery life, but regardless, it's good to see that it has been improved with this. I do a lot of reading on this. I watch a lot of YouTube content on this. And at the end of the day, I also keep the brightness at max brightness. And at the end of the day, when I'm going to bed around 10 p.m., I still have 20 to 30% battery life left. So battery life is pretty good. Obviously, it depends on usage. If you're doing heavy gaming and if you're doing a lot of video edits or graphic design, that might vary, but I am seeing an improvement on battery life. Does it feel faster than the 6? Once again, yes and no. Really depends on the tasks that you do, right? If you're playing games, you're doing video edits, you're doing some graphic design, you are going to notice some differences. Even when I'm just like switching through apps and stuff, I do feel like it's a little faster. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but it does feel faster than the iPad mini 6, but not so much to the point where I'm like, go and upgrade to this. It's like super fast, but it is fast. And the last question, is it worth upgrading from the 6? So far, it looks pretty much the same, just a little faster. Yes, it looks the same. The design is the same. The display is the same. And yes, you're right, it is faster. And like I said in my previous videos, if you've never owned an iPad mini or you own an iPad mini 5 or older, and you really want to get a new one, then I think you're going to love the iPad mini 7. And if you're someone with an iPad mini 6 who really wants those Apple Intelligence features, then I think, yes, you should upgrade to the iPad mini 7, because you're only going to get Apple Intelligence with the iPad mini 7, not the iPad mini 6. I'm a tech enthusiast. I like having the greatest and latest devices, but that doesn't mean that that's the most practical thing to do, right? But I am someone who is really liking Apple Intelligence, and I feel like that's completely going to enhance my productivity and workflow. And for those reasons, I'm very excited for the new iPad mini 7, and that's what I've been liking about the iPad mini 7, given Apple has only announced or has launched only 1 or 2 features of Apple Intelligence with this. But as the months progress, Apple is only going to unleash new features, which will make this device even more powerful and better to use. But at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the new iPad mini 7? And are there some questions that I still have not answered yet? Whatever they are, your thoughts, your questions, concerns, leave them down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you next time.